Well, hello and welcome back to the Third Man Cricket Show. Today is the fifth test between India and England, the final test match of the series, played at the Manchester. And as you can see, that today all the panel is wearing traditional clothes because it's one of the most awaited festivals in India. We wish all our viewers a very happy Ganesh Chaturthi from the entire Third Man Cricket Show family. The vibes which go around in Maharashtra at the time this festival is just so electric, and that's why you can see the smiles on both our analyst faces. Let's welcome our analyst Kaustubh and Sanmay over here. First of all, it's been a roller coaster 24 hours for the Indian cricket team when the news came out yesterday that one of the members from the Indian staff has been tested positive for COVID, and the Indian team's practice was cancelled in Manchester. Then the ECB came and asked the BCCI to forfeit the game, post which late at night, luckily all our players tested negative and the match is all set to go. So, Kaustubh, coming to you first, what were the emotions going around in your head in the last 24 hours until it was confirmed that we are going to have a full-fledged match today?
I think more than anything, I was confused because the audacity that English Cricket Board has shown always amazes me. First of all, they recruit international players and call them English team, and second of all, when they're down and out and they are blaming their bioval, and they want us to forfeit the match. So that was really mesmerizing. And frankly, I was out of the words. I don't understand when the match is cannot be played. There are not playing conditions. Why would the visiting team should be the one forfeiting the match? You were not sufficient enough with your buy bubble, and I don't think that's our fault. If the players are not following the SOP, you should have complained. But there was no formal complaint lodged, so that means the players were following the SOP to the core. And if that means that your technicalities or it's your fault, the hosting team. So I think if anyone should forfeit the match, it should be the English team.
Well, I agree to you, and Kostuv's banter for the English side continues on our show. But Sanmay, coming to you, what were your emotions throughout the last 24 hours?
No, my emotions for past 48 hours were having I was having a roller coaster ride of emotions because first our T20 World Cup squad was released, and in that we had a big surprise of MSD coming as a mentor. Then this about the support staff getting positive also. So I still feel that the English bio bubble is not as good as Indian bio bubble if you see, because it's not that strict. They have many relaxation as compared to Indian bio bubble, but as Kaustuv said, England always amazes us. How could they even ask Indian team? How could they even request that we should forfeit the match? We can always say that we are two up in the series. You want to we can cut down to a fourth test match and take back. We are anyways taking the cup back home only, but we always want to wait. We didn't want to forfeit the match. We always wanted to play the match. We were waiting for the test results, and then we wanted to take a decision. We were even okay with postponing to next year also when we come back here for the limited overs. But
Definitely,
England team
very
is amazing.
rightly. Very rightly said. And yes, the Indian team doesn't look for draws or losses. Losses. We only look. We have the winning mentality now, and it has been so evident, especially in this particular year, where we have gone for so many different matches where a win was not looking plausible, but we made sure that we convert them to a victory. So yes, the Indian team is very determined. But as Sanma, you mentioned that India is already 2-1 up, and we are taking the cup home. We have retained the trophy. Big news that are coming in today right now. First, the rumors are that Jasprit Bumrah might be missing out the Test match, and Mohammad Shami would be into the playing 11. Well, it's not yet certain whether Jasprit Bumrah is being rested or is he injured. Does he have a niggle or anything? But Kaustubh, what are your views on this particular news?
I think resting a Bumrah right now would be a big mistake because the series is not completely in our pocket right now. So we are still struggling. If England team wins this Test series, the series would go to a draw, and I don't think that's the aim that we carry around. When we tour it, I mean we are in complete dominating position this time around, and we have a really great chance to win it 3-1 and avenge the loss that we had in the last series 4-1. Although that series may show the records as 4-1, but if you see match by match, there was no match around that where India was not in a winning position. But if you see this time around, the scorecard may show 2-1, but there was no match around where India was not dominant enough. So even the one loss that we had, if there was some changes, wicket here and there, we could have been in dominant position or we could have been in winning position. But there was no chance when England was there to win. So I think we should go for the kill, and I feel personally, I feel that Virat Kohli is that kind of a captain who goes for the win, and resting a Bumrah at this condition would be a big mistake.
And Sanmay, what about you? What are your views
Yeah,
on the exclusion of Bumrah?
it will be really an inappropriate decision to take rest Bumrah because the way he has performed in this series all the way. If we all know that when the ball started reversing, he told the captain, "Give me the ball, I want to bowl it." So that's the confidence Bumrah has in himself. So we don't have that much confident player in our lineup. We want a bowler, we want a leader who can lead this attack really well. So if Bumrah sits, it will be really difficult for us. It may be really bit difficult for us to take 20 wickets. Let's see what captain has in his mind.
I mean,
I guess
this.
because we can even say that Rohit Sharma can have his influence, can ask that let Bumrah play. If Bumrah personally wants to play, then he has to play. It's not that this is the important series. We haven't won the series. If it was the scoreline was 3-1, I would have said okay, Bumrah rest Bumrah, it's okay. But we are yet to secure the series. We are here to win. We want to win a series. It's been past 14 years since we have won a series against England in England. So
Very
at
rightly
this
said.
juncture, rest in Bumrah will be really a loss for us.
I think Bath is struggling with network issues. It seems. So, moving on, there are some tweets by Boria Majumdar, who is a renowned name in the cricket fraternity, and he's saying that official decision on the match is yet to be taken. So, what do you think the official decision is yet to make? So, the players have tested negative for COVID-19. So, why is there delay in the decision making?
Yes, Boria Majumdar has, he just recently tweeted that the official decision is yet to come for the match. In about 30 minutes, the official decision will come whether the match is actually going on or not. But let's hope that the match will happen. And as Sanmay, I'm sorry, I had some network glitches. But as Sanmay, you were talking about Jasprit Bumrah, one other thing that we can, another point of view, if we see, we have the World Cup lined up very soon. In just about 1.5 months, we have the World Cup. So maybe it might be because even the IPL is there and back-to-back tournaments are there for the Indian players. So maybe they would be looking for the workload management of Jasprit Bumrah. But if you ask me personally, I completely agree to both Kaustubh and Sanmay that for such a big match, we can't let a player like Jasprit Bumrah be rested. But another news that is coming in right now is Ravindra Jadeja might be having an ankle strain, due to which Ravichandran Ashwin will finally make his place into the playing 11. We had a chance in this match to play both Ashwin and Jadeja, but now only one of them is going to play. So, Kaustubh, your views on this?
I think it's long time that Ashwin should play in 11. He's the best spinner that we have right now, and currently I think he's sitting on second or first position in ICC rankings of bowlers. So it seems only fair that you play Ashwin at least one match. And since he is picked in T20 squad as well, it would really help to boost his confidence, getting to play in the English conditions. Being in the team, and I would say we did have a chance to play Ashwin and Ravindra Jadeja together, but right now that train has passed. But better late than never, and I think it's high time Ashwin plays.
And Sanmay, what about you?
It's a great news. I think so. Abhinav will be really happy. Our very own Abhinav Mishra will be really happy. He was written in caps like Ashwin should play, should play, should play. Now finally he is here, but at an expense of Ravindra Jadeja. So then the team combination will be like we have to pay an extra batter. If we see the if Jadeja was also playing this game, I would have always rested someone like Ajinkya Rahane and bring in Ashwin. That was my combination going in my head. But if Jadeja is injured, then and if Ashwin is replacing Jadeja, then we have to find someone else. You have to get an extra batsman here and there so that the team combination stays really well. So it's good news if Ashwin is playing is a great news India can have, and it's high time we should have played him at the start of the series. We should have played him because he is someone who is more accustomed accustomed to English conditions more than any other player in Indian team.
Very rightly said. Abhinav definitely is happy with the inclusion of Ashwin, but Abhinav is also showing a little bit of disheartenedness with regards to the changes that are being made. And Abhinav says, "Are we playing the game to draw the series or to win the series based on the changes that the Indian side are making?" Kostu, are you actually satisfied if the changes which we just discussed of Ashwin and Shami coming in place of Bumrah and Jadeja? Are you actually satisfied with the lineup which will come out after these changes?
I think bringing in Shami makes sense, but at the cost of Bumrah doesn't. I feel Shardul Thakur has done enough with the bat so that we can rest Jadeja if he is carrying an eagle, and we can play him as the seventh batsman in the lineup. We can bring in Mohammad Shami. We can play Bumrah as well. I think sadly the Siraj might have to miss out if we have to bring in Shami, because on a dead pitch, I don't think there is any better bowler to exploit the reverse swing other than Mohammad Shami. I know Bumrah bowled a really great spell in the last Test match, but if you see Shami on dead pitches with the rough ball scuffed from the one side, there is no better bowler in India to exploit the reverse swing than Mohammad Shami. So on the last day, if this pitch is going to be the same way, we must bring in Shami, and I think it would be at the cost of either Umesh Yadav or Mohammad Siraj. But looking at the last match, it mostly be like Mohammad Siraj. But I just hope they don't rest Bumrah.
Yeah, I also agree to you, Kosto. I don't want Bumrah to be rested. After the kind of series that he's been having, we want him to play as well as he can and gain more and more confidence because he is one of the vital bowlers for our World Cup as well. But Sanmay, coming to you, will you be? Are you satisfied if these changes are being made? Are you satisfied with the playing 11 that will come out?
I totally agree with Kostu. Bringing Shami in place of Bumrah will be like it's not a good decision to make. So my combination would have been two spinners. But Jadeja is not, since Jadeja is also not playing. Then I would have replaced Ashwin with Umesh Yadav. But now since Jadeja is also not playing, I would have brought in Shami for Umesh, played Bumrah, Siraj, and Shami together along with Shardul. But let's see what is the case with Bumrah.
I'm really sorry. I'm having some network issues today. But yeah, so both our experts are don't want Bumrah to be rested. Neither do I. But Sanchit over here, he shows his concerns. There are lots of distraction around this test match. One practice day called off. Big playing 11 changes coming in. Worried about the test match. Let's hope it isn't an anticlimactic end to the series. Sanchit's worries are valid, but Kostub, do you think that whatever's happened in the past 24 hours, do you think it will affect the Indian team psychologically?
I just hope it affects them positively because knowing Virat Kohli and the character that he brings to the team, I know I have been very critical about his captaincy in the past, but just as an individual, he's someone who gets off the banter. He's someone who likes to be sledged, and that's get him going. So the English Cricket Board asking us to forfeit the match when they clearly know it's not our fault. I think that will get the team going because we know we have a really great chance, and them asking to forfeit this match actually shows that they are not really keen on playing the test match. They want us the win to be handed over. Seems to be their character, their team, and I think that's a good sign for us. वो एक हिंदी में डायलॉग है ना कि ये डर मुझे अच्छा लगा, ये डर होना चाहिए. So that's the kind of situation we are in right now. So they can't seem to be defeating us on the pitch. So they are trying to do all this little chindigiri by asking us to forfeit. When was the last time? Did we ask them to forfeit the match when it was raining heavily? So I think that's the thing that they are trying to do. This little what can we say, bits and pieces of outside pitch niggles, and I think the other team will be very fired up because of all this.
Definitely, we have seen that whenever the England team pokes the Indian side definitely comes out really strong in front of them. But Sanmay, what are your views? Do you think that this will have a psychological impact on the Indian side? And if it does have, was it going to be positive as what Kostu mentioned, or do you think it will have a negative impact?
It should have a positive impact on the players because the talks that go outside of field, as Virat says always in the conference that the outside talks doesn't affect us really well. Doesn't affect us. So that's the type of character Virat Kohli has built the team. That no matter whatever happens outside the field, we will not be affected with that, and we just play our positive game. If you are poking us, we will poke you back. We showed in the field, and he really shows it. The team just shows that if you come against us, there, as Rahul had said in Lord says, like if you poke any 10 of us, the 11 are sitting to come on you. So it's clearly said that this won't affect Indian team. It may have a positive impact, but it won't affect Indian team.
Well, there is slight sad news coming. I am still confused as to what is exactly happening right now. But yes, weather definitely, is a big concern. But there are rumors coming in that the first day might be postponed to tomorrow. Omkar on the chat box has mentioned that day one of the fifth test between India and England has been postponed. Well, it's not yet certain, but how is it going to impact if at all the day is getting postponed to tomorrow, if the start is delayed to tomorrow, how is it going to affect the Indian side? Because the test match will, if they're having complete 5-day test match starting from 11th of September, the match will get over on 15th, and from 19th September IPL is starting, and it's really a hectic schedule for all the Indian players. So how are they going to exactly fit or manage if it's being delayed by one day? Kostu, what about you?
Just like I previously mentioned, I don't think it bothers us really much. If anything, it will fire us up. But I think these are all just mind tactics. Even Ravi Shastri tested positive in the fourth or fifth day, I think, in last test match. So precautions should have been put in place since the last test match only. And if there has been any positive testing done on the other support staff, I think that was very natural and very understandable because they are in bubble together. They are the support staff. He is the coaching staff. So I think it is very understandable. There is no need of panic. And if the players are tested negative, I think, I mean, what's the point of postponing the test match? Like, what are you trying to get? एक दिन में और एक कोई पॉजिटिव होना चाहिए. I think it's just the hopes that they're trying. कोई और एक पॉजिटिव मिले, so we can forfeit. You can ask them to forfeit. We कुछ reason मिले to just tell them कि नहीं वो series cancel हुआ. We did not lose. It is getting postponed. It's like when you and your girlfriend are going through a breakup. And you can't make a public appearance, she, अरे नहीं वो बाहर है, अरे नहीं वो आ नहीं सकती. These are like these reasons. It does not make any sense. What's the best outcome of postponing by one day? Why not just post 7 days? That's the ideal or scientific time around to see if anything is getting positive. So these are rubbish reasons. I just think they're trying to play the ball and asking BCCI, just trying to buy some time and make some outside deals with BCCI, to postpone the series or ask them to forfeit the match. I don't think it makes any sense.
But as you earlier mentioned, Kaustubh, ये डर हमें अच्छा लग रहा है देख के. The fear that is there in the England cricket side, we love seeing this fear. But Sanmay, what about you? How do you think that it is all going to be managed if the day is being postponed?
The we should it shouldn't affect us as a team because these should have been discussed earlier also with ECB and all the scheduling and all. We had a month's time. We could have started. We even BCCI asked that कि एक हफ्ते पहले चालू कर लेते तो फिर ताकि एक buffer time भी मिल सकता है हम लोग को. But ECB didn't agree and now ECB is running. The ball is in ECB's court only because of their stupidity. ईसीबी हम लोग पर ईसीबी आजकल हम लोग को ये अमेज करने के लिए कभी रोकता ही नहीं है. इफ यू सी कि ये कुछ ना कुछ तो ऐसा चिंदीगिरी करता है, जैसा सौरभ केबी ने बोला कि चिंदीगिरी करके इन लोगों को कैसी भी जीतने का है. एंड या फिर पोस्टपोन करके नेक्स्ट आर्चर और स्टोक्स को लेकर आके हम लोग खेलते हैं कि ऐसा चिंदीगिरी चलता रहेगा, उनके दिमाग में चलता भी रहेगा ये सब. ईसीबी का भरोसा नहीं है ये सब. ईसीबी का कुछ भरोसा नहीं है कुछ भी. दे कैन डू एनीथिंग टू विन, दे कैन गो एनीथिंग. अगर उनको बुरा नाम भी मिला उससे उनको कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता. ऐसा ईसीबी है, उनको कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता. ठीक है तुम लोग गाली दो, हम लोग तो एंड में सीरीज ड्रॉ की जीत के में चले जाएंगे बच्चे लोग के साथ. बट we should have started this series a week earlier before the scheduled time, ताकि इस टाइम पे अगर ऐसा पोजीशन आता भी है आगे, then we can टेक कि लुक फॉर पोस्टपोन. एक दो दिन से पोस्टपोन करने से भी कुछ ज्यादा फर्क पड़ता भी नहीं था. बट ईसीबी को गलती देने का, हमने इस साल बहुत ईसीबी को
Yeah.
गाली दी है, राइट फ्रॉम वर्ल्ड टेस्ट
Um,
चैंपियनशिप, गाली ही
yeah,
गाली दी है हमने.
I was going to mention that since the England New Zealand series has started since then every almost every show where we have covered the England side, someone or the other has said stuff about the England cricket board. We should definitely Kostub is one of the founding members of our show. Kostub, we should definitely we should
One
definitely
show, one show about
have
ECB.
a separate show where all the members of Third Man Cricket Show come and rant
And
about the ECB.
language shouldn't be a barrier. Language shouldn't be a barrier. तो
No,
और
no,
भी
no.
अच्छा
It
बना.
should be a barrier.
No, no,
We,
no.
we are moving into professional domain. It should be a
Language.
barrier.
But over here, Sanchit says that if this day is postponed, the series win. See, India will win the series on 15th of September instead of 14th September, which will be a good birthday gift for Sanchit. If you all know, viewer Sanchit is also one of the members of our Third Man's Cricket Show. So we wish that we also hope that Sanchit you get the perfect birthday gift in with India winning the series. But a lot about the Indian side right now. Let's shift our focus a bit to the England side. When England announced its squad for the fifth Test match, Josh Butler was added to the squad. Even we saw the likes of Jack Leach also coming in. Well, Josh Butler's inclusion in the squad does seem very appropriate, does seem very possible. But there are questions whether Jack Leach will be added to this playing 11 or not. Kostub, what do you think that the England side is going to make changes? Of course, we all are expecting Josh Butler to come in, but if he's coming in, who is he going to replace?
Yeah, it's really a difficult choice to make in between those two because I initially thought that Butler has to come in, but then Johnny Bairstow would have been the opener and Rory Burns would have been dropped. But looking at the last match, the very last inning that the England played, the opening stand was really good, and so it's really difficult because Oliver Pope got out, I think, on a really good ball to Bumrah, and previous innings he played really well. So it's really tough choice because David Malan has been given I think one test match ago he has been brought into the team, so it is really a difficult choice to make. But if we have to just bring in the Butler, so I think Bairstow has to make way for him. Just one more thing before we move on. I just want to know if Jaro is COVID positive or not because he has always been running onto the pitch of England side, and I don't see him getting banned. So if a person can be running onto the field like that, I am just wondering how much strong the biobubble English cricket board has created for our players. Because I remember one time, I think it was Alistair Cook's last series in India, I think, and I think Virat Kohli was pretty much pissed off by how much break they were taking in between. I think it was Diwali in between, and they seemed to take 1 month off, and they were in India. So sorry, they flew back to England and came back to India again. And that time I remember Virat Kohli saying that we will definitely make sure that we rest when we go to the England. And I think that was because that English cricket team was on the daily allowance of BCCI, so they were staying here and they were getting rested. So we have looked after them really well. And if this is the case that if that there is a corona outbreak into the Indian cricket team and the staff, I think we should go deep into the reasons why there was first of all why there is a case of corona when they are living in strictly a bio bubble, and if there is, what's the cause of it, who has entered the bio bubble. But Jaro has been playing going onto the ground. I don't remember seeing anything like that since last 10 years. Anyone running onto the ground, and if there has been a case, uh, it has never been repeated in the same series, at least as far as my knowledge goes. So it is there is something that we are missing and we are not looking into. I think the investigation has to go into how the COVID-19 has been contacted.
Kostub, I agree
But
to you,
yes,
and
as
yes,
far as
Samir,
I
go on.
have heard, the ECB SOP that they have given to players is that they don't have a strict bio bubble as we have in India. So the players are allowed to move freely, but they are given a list of places where they can go, and it's like the list of restaurants and the list of places where there will be less crowding. The list of restaurants also begin where only fully vaccinated people are allowed. So that's the case in England. They are allowing to move freely. They don't have a strict bio bubble like we have in India. Like you can just go from point A to point B. In England, you can go from A to Z any point. You can go and come back to A. But in India, it's like A B A B A B. So They England doesn't have a strict buy bubble as we have in India. That's the case with England.
Very rightly said, and as you can sense by my tone, we are receiving possibly a very bad news. ESPN Crick Info has just recently tweeted that both the boards have mutually decided to not play the test match today, and it might be postponed to tomorrow or possibly day after tomorrow. Kostu, once again, I'm asking if now the news is coming that it might be postponed to day after tomorrow as well. Do you think that Indian team will be able to manage with everything the schedule which they are having right now? Do you think they'll be able to manage because all these players which are over here, of course, they are all integral parts of their respective IPL squads as well. Of course, this is the World Test Championship and it's way more important than the IPL. But do you think that everything? How will everything be managed by these players?
Yeah, I mean, when you're an international player, you have to go through all these things. Schedule will always be tough. Schedule will always make you think like, why I'm doing this. But that's the part and parcel of the game. You're paid enough. You're given the fame. People admire you, and yeah, that's the profession as that you don't get rest and your body gets tired. And I really feel this is unfortunate because I don't understand point of delaying test by 1 day or 2 day. If you want to delay the test match mutually, then delay it by 7 days. At least give enough time to reconcile people and understand what the impact of COVID has been. That has been got into the Bible. But since they have decided mutually, I don't really see any point. I think uh, anyway players have to be quarantined when they flew out to UAE because we don't want if there is any contraction of COVID-19, we don't want it to be spreading around in UAE as well because the IPL has been our marquee event and I feel that looking at English cricket board, they are trying to push the 100 and we never know what they might be looking at. So we have to save IPL as much as we can and yeah, it is going to be definitely tiring for our players.
And Sanmay, what about you?
Yeah, if this test gets postponed by a day or two, then I feel that some players will not play from the start of the IPL because the players should get enough rest. Because if you see the Indian team is continuously playing, they don't have a rest day as such. So because after this series, we have a marquee event called IPL, where after that we have the World T20. So the franchise, if it postpones by a day or two, then some players might not start the IPL, and it's understandable because we see country comes first before franchisee cricket, and franchisee cricket should also मानना चाहिए उन लोगों की ठीक है अगर एक दो मैचेस नहीं भी खेला तो भी ठीक है ताकि players are fresh enough, they don't get injured before the main World Cup event. It's really
Well,
upsetting.
I am still confused as to what exactly is happening because ESPN Crick Info said that the match will be postponed by a day or two, and now Crickbuzz has just posted on the social media accounts that after several hours of deliberation between both BCCI and ECB, the fifth test between England and India at Old Trafford is set to go ahead as scheduled. However, with less than 3 hours of the start of the match, a few Indian players have told the BCCI that they are not comfortable with playing the test. So, Kaustubh, is it because what we are discussing that the things that are happening are having a negative, might have a negative impact on the players? Is it this reason that the Indian players have shown discomfort with the starting of the match?
I think more than anything, it is due to confusion. I don't even know if they have started warm up or they are into mindset of no. Because the message are just अभी हम लोग live कर रहे हैं 10 मिनट बाद नया नया news आ रहा है. So I'm sure we don't have to play. We are here sitting dressed up. We are happy. We'll eat modak in some time. But the players actually have to go and play the test match. So I'm really sure that it is due to confusion because I don't think they are into the mindset of playing the test match. 10 मिनट बाद चेंज होगा खेल रहे नहीं खेल रहे. I think ECB and BCCI are doing a toss. So best of three. Heads आया okay we are playing. Tails आया okay we are not playing. So each 10 minutes the update is going outside. I think that's the only possible outcome I can think of.
And Sanmay, what do you think? Is it actually because the players are being psychologically affected? Like Kostov also mentioned that they haven't got any practice or any training. Is it because of those reasons that Indian players are showing discomfort with the beginning of the test match?
I don't know whether Indian team is even showing any concerns or not. Yeah, Kohli should not be sent for that toss if that toss is happening, whether we should play or not. He will lose and come back. But then, if I don't think so, India, as far as the players will be that comfort. It may not affect the Indian team as it may affect the English team. इंग्लैंड टीम का माइंडसेट ही बहुत फ्रेजाइल रहते हैं. एक कुछ हुआ वो लोग बोलते हैं कि नहीं यार तुम लोगों ने गलती किया हम लोग ऐसा कर सकते हैं ऐसा वो लोग बोलते हैं. They have that reasons all ready with them, but it's between the two boards. ECB, I guess they are pushing it that please postpone करो आगे postpone करो. ऐसा पोस्टपोन करते करते अगले साल करो मैं आर्चर और बेन स्टोक्स को लेके आ जाऊंगा. प्लीज प्लीज पोस्टपोन करो ऐसा वो सोचते रहेंगे इंग्लैंड और ईसीबी वाले. दे आर आई गेस द होल कंफ्यूजन इज क्रिएटेड बाय ईसीबी because as far as BCCI is concerned, I think so they might have a clear standard. We want to go ahead because so that these players get enough break before the IPL marquee event, so that the IPL also goes smoothly. But I guess this all confusion is from the host country.
Exactly. We definitely need to have some clarity as to what is going on because, as Costa mentioned, every now and then we are receiving different news, and even on the comments, I can see our viewers getting frustrated a bit. Sanchit says. कि संचित shows his feelings भाई क्या हो रहा है. Amok says एक बार डिसाइड कर लो यार. But Kaustubh, we have a suggestion for you by Sanchit himself that if you are doing the toss thing, don't send Virat Kohli for the toss. He might lose, and then what Sanmay is saying that postpone to next year, and then बाद में Archer or Ben Stokes दोनों आ जाएंगे, then it will be a big problem for us. Well, it is still not sure when the match is going to start, whether the match is going to start today or not. Well, but if we see in one way, today is predicted to be almost a washout. If at all the match was about to go underway today, uh, it's heavy rains in Manchester. Almost the entire day is going to be
And
covered by
why are
rain.
England
So
complaining? If it's raining, then why are England complaining? Either वो तो वैसे ही 5 दिन बारिश होके निकल जाएगा. उनको हारने का है क्या जो लोग बोल रहे पोस्टपोन करते आगे जाके. हारने तो रेडी है तो हम ठीक है पोस्टपोन करने के लिए रेडी है. बट अब वैसी बारिश हो रहा है if it's gonna rain the whole day then postpone होने वाला जाने ही वाला है then I guess why England is even complaining about these things if it's raining. Either way it's raining.
Well, yeah. Either way, it's raining. But the thing is, if there are rains, then it would probably be a four-match test, a four-match, 4-day game. But maybe it might be that both the boards might be looking from a different perspective. That anyways, the day is predicted to be a washout. So why not start the entire match from the next side? We get complete 5 days. If that is the thinking process of both the boards, I'm really happy that ECB is thinking slightly sensibly. But if they're actually afraid of the Indian team, that as Kaustubh mentioned, then also we are happy. We love to see the fear in their eyes. But moving a bit apart, just before we wrap up, yesterday a lot of squads for the World Cup were announced, and we saw quite a few surprises. Ravi Rampal is back in the West Indian side. We didn't see the inclusion of Faf du Plessis, Chris Morris, Imran Tahir for the South African side. And minutes after Afghanistan's squad was announced, Rashid Khan stepped down as the captain, saying that he was not, his consent was not taken for the team. So, Kaustubh, about these things which happened yesterday, apart from the India versus England, the entire Test match scenario, what are your views on the inclusions and the exclusions of these players?
I think Ravi Rampal has been a curious case, but to be in all fairness, I am not following CPL that closely, and most of the selection looks to be based on CPL and the recent performances that are going on there. But I think there was a curious comment made by Harsha Bhogle yesterday on Twitter. He says that usually the West Indies team looks really intimidated, very flamboyant, but on slowish pitches it seems to be vulnerable. And I kind of agree with them there. Missing out Sunil Narine was a big blunder in my opinion because he might not be in his peak career right now, but he's definitely an asset. And if given a choice on slow pitch, I would pick Sunil Narine any day. And missing him out completely out of the squad is a total disastrous decision in my opinion, because I believe that UAE will be a good time for him in IPL. And let's see what goes on, because the most of the selection, just like IPL, no, not IPL, but most of the selection are based on CPL. I believe. Unfortunately, rest of the teams haven't done that. But uh, I really doubt that Ravi Rampal makes a case for himself in T20s.
But one of the most surprising thing was that Faf du Plessis, he retired from Test cricket just to play World Cup for South African side, and he is actually in a very good form. If I'm not wrong, recently he has scored a century in the T20 league, and the past 2 3 years we have seen him playing for the Chennai Super Kings. He has been the prime batsman for the CSK side. And of course, Duplessis again is going to play the IPL for CSK before the World Cup will start. So I completely see the exclusion of Faf Duplessis very pointless. A stoop. If I might use my words wrong, but in my opinion, it's a very stupid decision that Cricket South Africa has made. Sanmay and Kaustubh, I want to know your views on this particular exclusion of Faf Duplessis. Sanmay, you go first.
I don't know how South Africa has even chose their World Cup squad. But they haven't picked Fab du Plessis, who is in form of who's in good form. If we say he has scored a century in CPL, as you had mentioned, and he has played really well. In last year, if you see in last year IPL in UAE, he played really well. And was the Mr. Go-to man for CSK in every single IPL they play. But and one more case is that Chris Morris. He's been paid around 16 crores in IPL, and yet he is not taking a case in UAE. So I don't think what they were thinking before choosing the squad. I think they might have chosen the squad seeing players have played in Sri Lanka series. Imran Tahir, in any spinning conditions, he is a really good man. He recently took a hat trick in the recently completed 100. He's 41, and then also he runs around like a 14-year kid in the field after taking a wicket. We have to even Dhoni doesn't run. Dhoni says that you come back, then we will celebrate. That's been the case of for Imran Tahir. So these players have performed really well in around the leagues that they have played, but it's a really tough situation in South Africa. They are in rebuilding phase. They don't have AB de Villiers. They want some experience before going into World Cup, because even if they are not performing, these players are experienced players. They have played world ICC tournaments before also. So they should have been your first choice before going into World Cup, because these are your
Very
core men. These are your core men.
You
So
know,
if you're not taking
one
your
more
core
thing
men, that's the case.
to play the
yeah, yeah,
devil's
Kaustubh.
advocate. Yeah, no, just to play devil's advocate, I completely agree with you both too. That Faf and Tahir should have been there in the squad, even the Morris. But if you look at the squad that they have picked, you wouldn't see any player above 32 or 31. So I think they're clearly moved on from the players, and I think they're anyway used to losing in T20 World Cups. So right now they are just saying, if eventually we have to lose, why not just build a new team? At least give exposure to the young players, because even the last World Cup, I think there was some rumors going around that AB de Villiers will come back and save the team, and South African Cricket Board said no. We sent a team there, and we believe in these folks. And even if they lose, it's okay. That's our team, and I think that's the thinking that they are carrying with. The Temba Bavuma has been handed the captaincy. Even very few years ago, it was Quinton de Kock, but he took a break for some health issues, mental health issues, which is we totally agree and support. And so there are clearly signs of getting move on. So they are not waiting for anyone, not for Duplessis, not for Chris Morris, and not for uh, Imran Tahir. I think Imran Tahir is far past his prime right now. I understand he bowls really good, and he can run very quickly when he's taken wicket. But if when there is a case of chasing the ball, he does not seem to be running that fast. So I think that's the only thing that has followed against them, the age factor, because how many years they are going to continue. Fab Duplessis has announced his retirement from all formats of the game, apart from T20, just to play T20 World Cup. But On the other hand, it also shows that he is not capable of playing all the formats. He is not the same guy who played all the formats and was more impactful. And Chris Morris, I really like the guy, but to be honest, he is injury prone. I mean, when he gets going, there is nothing, no one like him, but he is injury prone. So I think it is a curtain call on their career.
Yeah, very rightly said. And one more thing that I would like to mention is, as Sanmay mentioned, that South Africa are going through a rebuilding process. Even Sri Lanka is going through a rebuilding process, and both the teams recently had an ODI series being played, and South Africa lost over there. Sri Lanka won the series 2-1, if I'm not wrong, and especially after that series, they should have included at least Faf du Plessis, who has been one of the most spectacular players for South Africa cricket. And as the news that we are getting is, the Indian players have written to the BCCI expressing apprehension about playing the Manchester Test. The Indian players also want one more round of the PCR test for their own safety before the match is being started. To be honest, if you ask me, I think that the steps which Indian team is taking is actually very correct. These are the correct measures, because you have two big tournaments lined up. Because if at all the match is being started and then players are being tested positive, that even puts the IPL at risks, due to which the World Cup might also come at risk. So it's better that the Indian players are taking the safety precautions right now. As Sanma also mentioned, that IPL ka ek do game miss hoga, it's fine. World Cup is way more important for the Indian players. So I think that itself is the mindset with which the Indian players are going on. But just before we wrap up, well, a very interesting question has been asked over here by Sanchit Desai. Would you take the match being abandoned than to watch India play by resting Bumrah?
Match abandoned.
Kostu,
Match abandoned.
No,
Sanmesh.
no, no, go Sunmay, go ahead. Sunmay, go ahead.
Match, of course, I would like to have a match abandoned than resting Bumrah, because if we are having a match after 2 days also, then we can Bumrah will be rested. Then there will be no things going on that okay, बुमराह को खिलाने का कोई रीजन नहीं रहेगा उनके पास. रेस्ट मिल गया अच्छा खासा, तो रेस्ट अच्छा है, वही अच्छा है. फिर abandoned फिर ठीक है if you are having an abandoned match.
And Kostu, what about you?
Yeah, definitely, I would say India play resting Bumrah. We are not dependent on one player, and definitely we don't need Bumrah to defeat England. It is a better thing to have Bumrah, but we are not like English cricket team that if there is no Jofra Archer, if there is no Mahmood, we will cry foul that match should be forfeited. We are Indian team. Yes, Bumrah is a great player, but we are not dependent on one player. We play as a team, and that's why we sit at the top. And I understand the concerns of resting Bumrah, but for this English cricket team, I don't think we need Bumrah. We will
Uh, you
definitely
know,
go then we'll win.
Kostu will never leave a single moment to taunt the English side, but we are still in a mix whether the match will start, when the match will start. Most likely, the day is going to be postponed. So do join us tomorrow. Now, tomorrow will be the first day. Our tomorrow show will be our pre-match show. But once again, a very happy Ganesh Chaturthi from the entire Third Man's team, and follow the government guidelines, and stay home and stay safe. Do follow the Third Man's Cricket Show. Do subscribe us on our YouTube channels, and do follow us on our Instagram. We have a lot of content coming up with the IPL and the World Cup. Thanks to all our viewers for joining in today, and thanks to Kostub and Sanmay for their wonderful insights. And just before leaving, Kostub, a humble request to you: we should definitely arrange a show
One
after
rank
the
show.
series.
One rank
One
show.
one one rant show
If
for
the day
for
is
this.
confirmed, if the day is confirmed now, evening
And
one rank show about cricket.
the only reason there is no show that I am the only one writing. You all are really politically correct about everything.
Yeah, you see a group. There are
you
many. If
you
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 see,
organize the
if
you
you agree, we already have. I can say the names. We have Parth Rathore, we have Rishi, we have Abhinav Mishra. Take them, make a show. 1 घंटा चलेगा वो. पैसा वसूल रहेगा वो. What करो एक
Okay,
rank show
okay,
well
करो.
sure, sure.
whether we
Let's
have
plan it on WhatsApp group. We will definitely do it.
yeah, well, whether we'll have that show or not is a matter of future prospect. But let's hope that the match gets going. If not today, then definitely tomorrow. But that's all that we had from our side on the Third Man's Cricket Show. Thanks once again. Thanks to our viewers, and thanks our analysts. This is Parth Tator signing off. Thank you.